I'm here today with my trusty foam roller, something that I use all the time before and after workouts. Foam rolling is so important. We're going to go into the details why and some of the exercises or rolling that you can do with a tool like this. So the technical term for foam rolling is self-myofascial release. Let's talk just a little bit about what's going on and why foam rolling is so important. So in between our skin and our muscles is something called fascia. Fascia is a connective tissue that is not only between our skin and muscles, but also around our organs, and it's all throughout our body, separating things, but also keeping them together. Think of it kind of like an anchor that keeps everything in its place where it needs to be. So as we're going about our daily life, we're going to have overuse injuries on things that we're doing commonly every day. So for example, if you're a mom and you're always carrying your baby on your left hip, you may end up feeling tension in a lot of different areas of your body because of that constant misalignment and weight being added to that misalignment. Other times we have just bad posture, right? If you're breastfeeding, you're changing diapers, you're constantly leaning forward. And anybody who's working, staring at phones all the time, or working on computers, watching TV, depending on where it's positioned. And our legs these days, our posture is not usually ideal. And then of course you can always get injuries as well, which is going to create, any of those are going to create inflammation and knots or adhesions inside your body. Oftentimes those areas come through in our muscles. We have sore muscles, we have tightness, we have headaches stemming from different areas in our neck. We have pain shooting down our leg, and you can tell it's stemming from your hip, right? So all of us are experiencing different aches and pains, especially as we go through phases of life like pregnancy, giving birth, raising small children, things like that. This is a great tool to have in your arsenal, but you actually have to use it. Disclaimer here, foam rolling can be very painful. So if you're feeling the pain, you're probably doing it right, depending on which area you're hitting. Today I'm going to be showing you mostly lower body because this is a common area that foam rollers are used. They're also easily used on your back, and then there's typically some other tools that we use. I have a couple of them here for upper body. You can get your arms, your shoulders a little bit, your triceps with the foam roller, but I'll show you some other tools that I have in my arsenal as well. So one of the first ones I'm going to start with is the IT band. Now this is one that I do all the time. I've had some knee pain from a marathon I ran a long time ago, and I know that it stems from my tight IT band. This is one that has been extremely painful for me, and then I have someone else, like maybe my husband, do it and it doesn't bother them at all. So each person is going to be affected differently depending on where they're holding tension and where their body has inflammation. So for the IT band, you're going to take your foam roller and you're going to position it on your IT band. So your IT band runs between your hip all the way down to your knee. Now one thing to keep in mind when you're doing foam rolling is that you want to stay away from your joints. So where your muscle is actually attaching in to your bones, you don't want to be putting too much pressure on those areas and actually injure them. So you're focusing on muscle release right now. So I'm just going to start a little bit lower than my hip here. I'm going to extend my leg out. So this leg is coming out over and then in front, and this leg is going to be staying straight out. Now you can kind of work down your leg on long areas like your IT band and do about 2 to 6 inches and just work that area. Or you can do a nice big sweep all the way down your IT band and find where your hard spots, your knots are, or tender areas are right away, and then just focus on those. So I'm just going to start with a nice slow roll. I'm going to do the upper half of my IT band right away. And as you're rolling each area, it's really helpful to kind of play around a little bit. So right now, I have a little bit of a lean back going. Now if I shift my hips so that they're straight up toward the ceiling, I'm going to feel that change completely in the area that it's hitting. Now as you're going, if you feel a certain spot that really hurts, you know you're on muscle, so you're not on one of your bones or your tendons, and you're not going to injure yourself that way, you can pause and just breathe. Because when you find a knot, just like when you get a deep tissue massage, someone digs their thumb into a knot on your back, it hurts, but you know it's going to be worth it. I can promise you that after you do a good foam rolling routine, your body is going to feel so much better, especially if you have some active tension that you can just feel when you're sitting or standing. Okay, so once I've sat here for maybe 10 to 30 seconds, anywhere in there, on a certain spot, then I'm going to continue on. So now I'm going to roll down to the lower part of my IT band. I have my arms here for support, but I will say most of my weight is here in my lower body, putting pressure onto my IT band. Now, when I first started foam rolling, this was so painful for me that I could not do it the way I'm doing right now. I would have so much of my pressure and my weight in my hands and in my standing foot that it would be hardly any pressure on my IT band. So you do have control of how much pain you're putting yourself through. So go ahead and roll back and forth, doing the full length, doing small sections, half sections, whatever feels good to you. So I'm going to have you try the other side on your own. Another great muscle group to roll out is your hamstrings. For this one, you can just come sit on your butt, put the foam roller right underneath your legs here, and then pop all of your weight up onto the foam roller. So you can just roll here back and forth like we talked about. Big rolls, half roll, 2 to 6 inches is fine too. Now, this is a muscle group where if you're sore from a workout you did recently, this is going to be plenty. If you're not sore and you want to get a little bit more of a stretch going through those muscles, you can stack one foot on top of the other. So you can do this muscle group as long as you want, then you could switch your feet. Great job. So another area we're going to work on is the piriformis, which is in your glute area. It's going to be up a little bit higher. So if you just sit on your glutes on the foam roller. Now this is another great massage you can do, is just massaging your glutes back here. But if you turn a hip over and then sink down just a little bit, you're all of a sudden going to feel where your piriformis is. You can massage right here, keep it nice and light. If you want to get deep in that area, because this is a problem area for a lot of people, you can take that same foot of the hip that's down, cross it over your other leg in a figure 4. Oh yeah, that is so much deeper, and that feels really painful and good. It'll feel good when I'm done, right? Just like anything else in fitness. And you just roll back and forth here. When you're ready for the other side, you can just shift your hips. You can always do that figure 4 first if you want to, and then roll down, or do it the other way. So you're going to roll into your other side and do that side as well. All right, let's move on to our calves. So I'm going to come forward just a little bit here. Kind of similar to our hamstrings. You can do double calves using your arms. This is a little bit of a core workout at the same time, where you're doing maybe the top part of your calves first, and then you can sit it down, move your hands back, do the bottom part of your calves. But another one here is going to be great when you stack your feet. So if you're up and then you stack your feet, so much more pressure, such a deep massage. This is a great one for if you're going for a run or if you just got back from a run. And of course, you can switch sides. All right, last one I'm going to show you in depth today is going to be to turn the foam roller sideways. You're going to sit on the end. Make sure your glutes are all the way down toward the end. You're going to roll back onto the foam roller, and it's right along my spine, going all the way up, and my head can also rest on it. Now from here, this is a great chest opener. You can use this as a stretch, and you can probably almost take a nap here, right, until you almost fall off. But it's great to also move your arms around. So when I'm here and I'm just using it as a chest stretch, I like to bring my arms out into a T position. But I want you to play with this one and figure out what feels best for you, because you might want to curl your hands in a little bit to more of a W, or bring them up over your head into more of a Y, or an I, or even bring them all the way down. Just make sure that if you're bringing your hands up over your head, you're not bending in your lower back at the same time and bringing your lower back into a huge gap away from the foam roller. You want to keep those abdominals working and keep your lower back down. So that's why I find the T just a really nice, comfortable position to help stretch out my chest and breathe. So give this one a try. You can sit there for 30 seconds, 2 minutes, however long you have until your toddler jumps on you. We're going to go over 2 more things that are great for myofascial release. We're going to go over something like this. There are a lot of different variations out there. This one is the Thera Cane, which we just got off Amazon. We're not an affiliate of them. This is just the one that I have in my house. But this thing looks really goofy, but it is awesome for back massage and getting up underneath your head here, because I get a lot of pressure and hold a lot of tension in my upper neck, which then shoots headaches up into my head. So if you've ever experienced that, which I'm sure all moms have, we're all looking down all the time, and there's always noise in our house, so we always have headaches, right? It's fine. So grab a Thera Cane or another product similar to this. This is hard. This is definitely not a toy for the kids, but it feels so good to use these little balls in different ways and find those knots that are causing issues throughout your day and literally just work them out on your own. You don't need anyone else to use this. So if I have a spot on my back, I can take this Thera Cane and really dig into my back muscles back here. So this is another tool we have in our house. And then of course, trusty golf ball. Covered in grass, just pulled this from my son's golf bag, but this is a really good one for your foot. So if you are running a lot, it is really beneficial to be working out that fascia in your foot. When you're running, you know, your shoe is made to help based on your pronation that your foot does. So a lot of times your foot is almost helped to stay in a certain form in your shoe. Well, this is a great way to get tension out. You just put your foot right on top of the ball and you're rolling it back and forth into whatever area of your foot is holding some tension. And even if you're not feeling tension, to be honest with you, any of these options is a really good way just to keep your body in check. So if you feel like you have forward shoulders a lot, use the Thera Cane or even the foam roller on your upper back. Just work those muscles out, loosen them up, get that fascia released, right? That's why it's called self-myofascial release. Get that fascia released so things can slide properly again and they're not tight and causing knots. So these are some great tools that we have in our house. I would highly recommend that you get some tools similar to this. We will have other videos on how to use foam rollers, maybe even almost like a workout routine with a foam roller, so where we actually do it all together for a full body. This is a little bit more of a tutorial. So in the comments, why don't you let me know what you'd like to see when it comes to self-myofascial release. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring that bell so you never miss an upcoming video.
And don't forget to like the video that you just saw and feel free to comment below. I'm Drea.
I'm Britt. We'll see you next time.